Now take a look at this picture, chums. Yeah, can you see this? This is a very, very clear and in many people's opinion, quite a depressing picture of what's supposed to be one of the greatest love stories of this century. We're talking, of course, about the failed entrepreneur Meghan Markle, former cable TV actress, and of course the Duke, formerly known as Prince Harry. And this picture, and what I know, tells 1,000 words, as they often say. As ever, let me explain. Hi, Morning. Nice to see you, chums. Thank you so much for taking the time out to join me today, as ever. Did you survive Halloween? Did you? Did you enjoy Halloween? I know I saw some terrible things online of people, you know, where they leave, we call them sweets, but candy outside people's houses, and then just helping themselves in great amounts and running away with it. Nothing is sacred anymore. The respectfulness of everything has just gone out the window. Have you noticed that? You know, you just kind of think, well, couldn't you just leave some for other people? Do you have to be that greedy? But seemingly we've sort of created this thing now of everything's mine, you know? And some people might say this is the problem that you've got with Meghan Markle. She truly believes, and she's not alone when you think there's some incredible parallels to her and the former Duchess of York, Sarah Ferguson, you know, seemingly get in there, get as much as you can and disappear. I think what's interesting when you look at, you know, the relationship with Harry and Meghan, and particularly in my position where I've been able to talk to quite a few staff members, you know, who worked there, it's a sad state of affairs because obviously all seems great, doesn't it? You know, the freedom flight, the whole thing, everything moving off, and then the reality kicks in. Harry suddenly is presented with 2 children, and consequently he thought this was going to be the great thing. I've seen this many times with couples, you know. The children then become, you know, they're part and parcel of your life, your furniture, but you also want to do something else. What's been interesting is, according to the source, Prince Harry is just simply being glued to the unfolding drama over here in the United Kingdom of course, his uncle, Prince Andrew. And you can understand that because he knows what the future holds. Meghan Markle is blinkered, and again, very similar to the Duchess of York. They believe the next big deal, the next big offer is simply around the corner. The reality is far from that, as you can imagine. And Meghan really can't seem to understand that, you know, with the likes of Spotify, Netflix and the rest now dumping her. Where do you go from here? What do you become after this? You get the picture. Now, this is the reason why many people understand the marriage, shall we say, has hit one of those rocky patches. A very famous film from 1954 starring Marilyn Monroe and Tom Ewell, The 7-Year Itch. Harry is bored, you know. Now, here's the thing, and this is the bit that's interesting, because a lot of people don't understand, you know, there is Meghan Markle craving privacy, talking about the intrusion on social media. There's Prince Harry recently just sitting down with another podcaster saying it's terrible, you know, we've got to protect children and all of that sort of stuff. Where's his protection? 2 things I can tell you about this video, right? He had no idea he was being filmed. I mean, he's not with us. Do you understand what I'm saying? So he's clueless as to what's going on. Meghan Markle apparently feigning some interest over the fact, of course, that, you know, a Dodgers game had scored or won or whatever. But we know that, you know, you don't press record and then do the jumping and everything. The person in the video is a nanny. So consequently, again, Harry is never alone. Seemingly there's always somebody around there. So why is this problematic? Well, it's problematic in many respects because Harry, as you know, really just doesn't know where he's going now. You know, the problem for him is, you know, he has to now go along with all of these publicity stunts. Meghan Markle, as I said to you recently on a video, is incredibly bored. She is bored of what's going on in the life, where she's going, and she feels, according to that source, that, you see, Harry, nice guy, but now, I'm going to put this nicely, some might say he's more of a hindrance, an albatross, than the thing that you needed. Remember, his name was going to open doors, and it has, and it still can, but not enough for the likes of Meghan. She thought that that was going to be the entree. She wouldn't need to work as hard. Now, when you look at the pictures of them going trick-or-treating with their children that they tipped off to make money with Backgrid, you know, the photo agency, those pictures are very, very clear. They're very much in sync. They know what they're selling. Harry doesn't look particularly happy there. She doesn't look particularly jubilant. The idea, according to the source, is that Meghan is now painting a picture, and again, I have to say allegedly, of the fact that this is what she's having to live with. You know, the problem is, in Meghan's eyes, you have to remember this, that, you know, she doesn't have these mental problems. She hasn't openly discussed her mental health issues. Harry has at every single turn. And because of that, you know, Meghan will say she's pushing ahead, trying to get a business going, trying to be a mom, trying to be this entrepreneur, launching all sorts of stuff. And Harry, seemingly caught off guard here in this video, well, this is the real Harry. Bored, not interested, just happy to fake a smile because, of course, he didn't really know this was being filmed. But of course, the nanny and Meghan did. And that's the whole point. We're jubilant, we're happy, we're pushing ahead with life. But sadly for Harry, this is all going to build up. Mark my words. Neil Sean, Kensington, London.